Hello again, welcome back to my channel. I know it's unforgivable how long it's been since I've uploaded any content, but we will be chatting about that. Also, thank you if you were new to my channel based on my last upload. I try not to wait quite this long between videos, but as you'll hear in a few moments, it's just been a minute. The year 2021 has already sort of continued the pandemonium and the pandemic for me that was started at this time last year in March. So before I get into some of that, this will be a chatty microneedle with me using my Dr. Pen M8. I will talk you through some of the particulars with this pen. It's the most current version. I picked it up about November of last year after watching some of Penn Smith Skincare's videos on her microneedling protocol, and it just seemed that she demystified it to a point that I was quite comfortable picking this product up and jabbing little needle holes in my face. More on that in a moment. I do have my Mise right here in front of me. It is a cloudy weekend in North Carolina, so even though it's beautiful outside, after you do a microneedling treatment, your skin is of course it has wounds in it, and it's not, so going outside in the sun is not something I want to do. I'll just jump right into it. This is the Costa Baja hyaluronic serum. This particular hyaluronic serum, I think you can see, is very viscous and gel-like. If you make your own, which I've never done, maybe I'll do that this year. It's very, very thick and viscous, and doesn't include any of the kind of impurities that would be dangerous to microneedle into your skin. So I'm putting about 2 tablespoons of the serum in a bowl, and I will junk it when I'm done with it. I'll paint it onto my face with a sterilized makeup brush. I have my little packet of fine gauge, my needle cartridge, and a fully charged M8 pen. And let's see, I also have quite a few of these alcohol wipes, which, boy, this is not a pleasant feeling on your face. Probably the least pleasant for me. Rubbing the alcohol wipes on my face is just about the most unpleasant part of this process, even though I'll be microneedling to a depth of 0.5 millimeters. I hope the light's okay. I do have a mirror right here because this is not something I want to do blind. In other words, I want to see where I'm needling. And my face has already been washed twice. I did the boost. I did my LED therapy this morning, but I will probably do another session on my face after microneedling. And as we go, I will talk about I will put timestamps before for when I do a little voiceover describing the microneedling claims, but for now I'm just going to be real chatty with you and talk about my experiences with COVID-19, which I tested positive for on January, let's see, I was terribly sick on January 4th and tested positive on the 6th. But let me focus on just attaching the cartridge first. So it's super simple process. You unwrap the sterile cartridge, lock the tip in. I need my glasses, and I will sterilize my face again to make sure I have the needle depth at the correct point. The needle depth is a little bit hard to read. It's along this silver dial, and you just twist to get the depth that you want. And I'm very comfortable doing 0.5 at home, and I'll go down to 0.25 around my orbital bone. Okay, so we are dialed into 0.5. Before I remove the needle protector, I will get my face one more time with the alcohol prep pads. Does this give a percentage? 70% isopropyl alcohol. These I just picked up on Amazon. Again, just super important to have completely sterile equipment and skin. You don't want to drive any impurities into your skin and cause reactions or infections. All right, so there we go. We are locked and loaded. To turn this pen on, you just click and hold. That's on speed 1. I'm going to go speed 5, which is what I've done this twice in the past. And before I just take it to my skin, I'm painting on some of my... This seems awfully dark, doesn't it? Just painting a little bit on my face. I'm sorry, the light is not great on this side of my face. Super cloudy, as I mentioned, outside today. And I'm going to start in the area that is most comfortable for me to microneedle, which is on my cheek. You do want to make sure you don't have any acne. We'll turn this on. Up to speed 5. Myself around. Yeah, that's better. Okay, I will be holding my mirror and presenting my lit face to you while I do this. The pen with a cross-hatching motion like this. First on the one diagonal, and this is an estimate of course, then on another diagonal, and then finally straight up and down. So it's just a little network of needles. And of course, the head of the needle looks something like this, with 16 total points in it. So as you're doing that cross motion, of course, you're really covering most of your skin with each pass. So just while I pause here, you can see it's flushed. There are some spots, but this is not a vampire facial. Get a little more blend down there. I have a little acne scar down here that I like to focus on. Little marionette line. Some texture and pores. A little bit of a scar right there. Again, acne scarring. And the last area is my forehead. You can see I'm quite a bit flushed. Now on my forehead, I'm going to back it off to 0.25. I wish I could get right in here. I have a little horizontal wrinkle right there, but honestly, there's no way I can get in there with the shape of my nose. So I'm turning it off. Readjusting the dial. Again on 5, I find that on the 5th speed it's much more comfortable than going slower. Gonna put in this area. This is no longer medical depth. And I just can't get that wrinkle. It's so funny. The architecture of my face won't allow for it. I have to sneeze when I'm doing my forehead. Something about the vibrations when you're doing your forehead makes you sneeze. Alright, I have some wrinkles here. Spending some time on them. Now to me the pain at the discomfort at 0.25 is the same as the discomfort at 0.5. So there is that. It looks much worse than it feels. It feels like it does feel like a sunburn. So I'm not saying it's completely without discomfort, but it is, I would say pain level. I'm pretty tolerant to pain, to physical pain, so I'm not sure I'm a good gauge for that. And I have one more little pock mark that I want to be sure that I hit from childhood acne. I'm not going to go over any of that again. I'm just going to concentrate on an area I feel like I missed. Where I tend to show texture and pores. And we are finished. Of all the home devices, I feel like this is between this and my LED mask. These have the single-handedly the most payoff in terms of plumping my skin, making it look visibly younger after about, I want to say, after about 3 days, I see definite plumping, but I'm going to talk about what's been going on with me. Testing positive for COVID wasn't even the worst curveball that that happened around the holidays and intensified the first part of 2021, and that is that my mother started having mitral valve problems to the degree that she was hospitalized for about a week before the Christmas holidays. And of course, at that point, COVID in the Midwest was terrible. It was terrible in North Carolina, and nobody was traveling. It was the viral surge after Thanksgiving holidays, and there was just no way to go out and see her. When she was in the hospital, my brother, actually, who's a nurse, did fly out to see her and was not able to see her, was not allowed into the room at the hospital, and all of this is totally understandable, procedural, with that procedures that hospitals have to assume in a pandemic, but it doesn't make kind of health crises any easier to deal with. And both of my parents are aging, so there of course is this nebulous threat of COVID out there as well. They were able to stabilize her valve problems with medication, and her physicians really wanted to try this mitral valve clip. It's not a super invasive procedure. Apparently you can feel 90% better as early as a day after having this clip inserted in your mitral valve. And so that was scheduled finally. Both of my parents received both of their vaccines. At that point I still had not received my first vaccine. I had already been sick with COVID and was sort of dealing with that. Never hospitalized, but not fun. So they scheduled her valve replacement in Oklahoma City. They're out in the Midwest again. They live about 2 hours north of there. They scheduled that for March 1st. So that was a work day for me. North Carolina schools have sort of been open the whole time. Well, we closed down last year. We didn't close down. Last year in March, we went remote for 3 months before the end of the school year and handled things that way. But in the autumn, when school started back up again, our district elected to have students return on an A-B schedule. So teachers are in the building teaching 5 days a week, but students are divided into 2 cohorts. You see half your students on Monday, Tuesday, the other half on Thursday, Friday. Wednesday is a remote learning day, deep cleaning day, and teacher time to basically adapt their lessons for that distance learning, because if you think about it, one cohort is always working 3 days remotely, so wrap your brain around that. Anyway, it's doable. I love technology. And honors, anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked. It seems to be a generally positive thing for honor students, especially juniors and seniors, because they have been able to work and learn how to balance work and school in preparation for college. But for the regular student and the EC student, it's just it's very difficult to, generally there are issues of access, and we do everything that we can. We provide Wi-Fi hotspots, etc., etc. All students have a Chromebook, but it's just an awful lot of additional work stress, my mom's health, and I was just in no frame of mind to do any kind of YouTube content creation. I have really been taking care of my personal creativity though, so there is that. On March 1st, I got a call from my father late in the evening. He was exhausted after spending the whole day in the hospital with my mother because the doctors had to abort the procedure. They somehow pierced her heart with an implement, and they put her on a ventilator, and they were worried about that perhaps air got into the heart, so they put her on a ventilator, and they were sort of a wait and see pattern overnight to make sure she didn't suffer a stroke. So next day, I made sure I had all my sub plans. I was ready to fly out. And my dad called back the next day on the 2nd. Mom was off the ventilator. She was fully cognizant, alert, aware, feeling as well as she could feel after, because this mitral valve is still a leaky mitral valve. And the doctors were still continued to be optimistic. And so they figured out something about her heart anatomy, and they want to go again on March 22nd. Obviously, I love the creative aspect of this channel. I may take a couple detours this year. I've absolutely fallen in love with the planner systems that I've been experimenting with, and my next video, which is just about ready to go, will be an unboxing of my Hobonichi order. So if you know what that is, I hope you consider joining me for that. But I will check in with you in a few days informally to show you what my face looks like. And I'm just going to throw this video out there because I feel like it's just been far too long. I'm so grateful for you if you subscribe to my channel, because of the Boost mask. Skincare and technology are really my driving passions. I'm trying to not beat time, but really just age as gracefully as possible without spending a lot on medical procedures. So to me, it absolutely makes sense to purchase equipment like this, to purchase an LED device, because I can repeat those treatments on my schedule from the calm of my own home and save megabucks while I'm doing that. So I hope you enjoyed watching me bleed my face. And thank you so much for returning if you have already subscribed to my channel. It's, I think YouTube is a delightful community and well worth a couple wackadoos that I get in the comment field periodically. And by that I mean I picked up a couple spam comments somehow recently, and I hope, I don't know. I hope if you're spamming other accounts after I post to comments on those videos, why? Why? Do something that brings good to the world. Sorry, that's all I'm gonna rant about that. Anyone else who comments on my videos, I really appreciate it. I appreciate your time. Ask me anything you like in the comments below about this thing. This is not going to be heavily edited. I just want to say hello and that I'm alive, and that even though things suck right now, I'm taking care of myself, and I hope you are too. And I didn't talk about any of my symptoms. If you'd like to see a video on my symptoms, I'm happy to talk about it. It would be a little bit short. They were very severe, but I could feel them moving through. I could feel the virus moving through my body and attacking different body systems every day and a half or so, and it was just incredibly disconcerting. And I feel like in terms of long-term impact, certainly I'm experiencing brain fog. I'm experiencing an elevated, I walk, I work out, I have an Apple Watch, so I know what my heart rate does both during the daytime and at night. And at night, perhaps it's psychosomatic because of my mother's heart problems, but perhaps it's a long-term effect of COVID. But I have, usually my nighttime heart rate dip is in the upper 20s, and now it's not dipping, it's actually going up. It's increasing up to 20, so that's weird, and that never happened before COVID. But again, maybe that's psychosomatic with my stress and my mother's situation. Anyway, I'm going to stop babbling now. Thank you again. Take care of yourselves. Be a positive impact on everybody you encounter, and that will help us all get through this with so much less damage. I hope you all have a wonderful, restful week, and that you're finding ways to connect with your community. I did have my first Pfizer vaccine last Wednesday, and I will have my second vaccine before my district opens everything back up, which means no social distancing on March 29th. So things are going to get worse here before they get better, but at least most of the at-risk populations have access to those vaccines now, and I hope the same is true for your community, and that we all come out of this by the summer. Anyway, thanks. Ciao.